Okay, on this one we're going to look at the heel swing and the delivery. I think this is a huge thing right here as far as the delivery goes. I think there's a lot of misconception on how you actually deliver the heel loop. We're going to take a look at Douglas here. So his swing is in the right spot. We've went over this before. His angle's really good. His hand's in the right spot. So when he throws, now this is the key to me, is because he keeps his hand right there perfectly on top of his head. Everything is tight. He can catch up with the rhythm of a really hard hitting steer, but this is the key right here, is whenever he begins his throw. Okay, so right here now, this is his delivery starts right there. So whenever you're delivering your loop, the whole last swing is your delivery, not just when it starts behind you, but right now, that's when you're going to throw. So when he starts, when he pulls down with his elbow, so watch where he begins his throw with. So he pulls with his elbow. So when he pulls with that, it also helps pull the pinky finger down, which has the bottom of your loop. As you'll watch as it comes through the transition of the throw right here, you can see how the bottom of his loop is still lower. You can see his hand is basically in the handshake position. You can see where the strands of his rope are lined up at. So at this point, when he's delivering, he's told his loop to come in there, both strands basically at the same time. It's where they hit at the same time is the key to me. So as his loop approaches, you can see where the top strand hits first up on the leg. So it's relatively high, that's a great loop. It's relatively high, but the bottom strand is going to hit a little further out in front of the feet. Okay, so it hasn't touched the feet yet, which you don't want it to. It has to have room for the loop, for the feet to get in the loop. So not trying to just specifically just drive it down there with a handshake position. It's just a natural continuation of his throw, of his swing. He releases, but because he led with his elbow, that sets the angle of his bottom strand. Let the top strand hit first. The bottom strand then basically hits the ground at the same time out in front of the feet, and you can't throw a better heel loop than that. So if you look at it from this angle, this is the same thing. As he goes to throw, you can see here how his elbow leads the throw, and as it's leading, you can see how at this point his strands of his rope right here are stacked. The top one is up higher, the bottom one is down lower. You can see how where they're at. So they're approaching that. When they leave his hand, you can see clearly how they come in there. But he's not trying to just stick his hand down there in the handshake position. It's a continuation of his swing. So I don't think get too caught up in actually trying to stab it down there with your hand straight upright like he's going to shake somebody's hand. But if you lead with your elbow, pull that bottom strand down, the top strand's going to hit. At the same time, the bottom strand hits out there a little bit further. Loop's going to stand up like that, and there's your heel loop.